We are back at 7:44 and with 44 with singer Chris Brown's public apology to his former girlfriend Rihanna. In a 2-minute video posted on his website, Brown pleads for forgiveness for the shocking assault that took place in February after a pre-Grammy party in Los Angeles. NBC's Lee Cowan has details.
On the R&B singer's webpage, just below his best-selling romantic single, With You, is another Chris Brown video, decidedly less romantic.
What I did was unacceptable, 100%. I can only ask and pray that you forgive me, please.
Right here up front, Chris Brown.
It was an apology for what he did shortly after this L.A. party back in February. The girl on his arm, pop star Rihanna, who went from looking like this to this, bleeding and bruised. On the eve of the Grammy Awards, the music industry's chart-topping couple got in an argument. According to a police affidavit, Brown repeatedly punched Rihanna in the face, even choked her.
Guilty.
Brown eventually pleaded guilty to felony assault. Although he says his attorney advised him not to speak, he said the time had come to address the crime and Rihanna directly.
I have told Rihanna countless times, and I'm telling you today, that I'm truly, truly sorry, and that I wasn't able to handle the situation both differently and better.
This is more for his fans, but it's also for everyone in the industry. It's everyone that's blacklisted him.
The viciousness of the assault hit Brown's fans hard, and his image as a role model tumbled, which has some domestic violence experts questioning not only the motive, but the sincerity behind his apology.
I definitely think that this is an attempt to somehow get back that clean image that he once had. But in my mind, it makes it worse because it just shows that he still isn't really getting it.
Brown claims no excuses, but he hinted the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I grew up in a home where there was domestic violence, and I saw firsthand what uncontrolled rage could do. I have sought and I'm continuing to seek help to ensure that what occurred in February can never happen again.
Brown will likely get probation when he's sentenced next month. For today, Lee Cowan, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Psychiatrist Dr. Gail Saltz is a Today contributor. Touré is an NBC News contributor as well and covers the music industry for Rolling Stone magazine. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for being on with us. Gail, if he hadn't issued an apology, we'd be talking about it. Now he issues one, and we feel the need to dissect it under the circumstances. How do you read it?
You know, it sounds sincere in the sense that many people who do this say, I'm sorry, but you provoked me, or you did this. They're defensive in some way, and he's not defensive. He says, I'm sorry, I really did this thing. It was tremendously wrong. Now I've got to do the work to make sure that it never happens again.
Doesn't erase the crime, but what does an apology do in a case like this?
Well, it definitely doesn't erase the crime. Let me say, this is only step one in a many stepped process. It takes a long time to unravel, especially as, you know, if you have grown up in a house with abuse.
And he mentions that.
And that's important because in this country, it is a cycle of abuse. Behind closed doors right now, somebody is being abused in their home. And in fact, with the recession and economic stresses, there's probably an increase going on. Certainly there is in teen dating, of which this was an example, of more abuse. So we are still underaware and underprepared.
And when I heard him mention the abuse, I was waiting for and that's my excuse. He didn't use it as an excuse. No. He basically said, I get it. I've seen it. I understand the pain.
I've done it, and he has to know it's a risk factor. The country has to know if you grew up in abuse, it's a risk factor. You have a lot of work to do to make sure that you're not going to perpetuate that cycle. So I think it was important that he brought that up. I'm glad he did because we need to be having dialogue about it.
Let me turn to Touré. He's been damaged goods in the music industry since all this happened. A lot of folks are saying, well, this is to repair his career. And I say to that, duh, of course, that's got to be part of the motivation, right?
Well, of course. I mean, this all happened in public. We knew as it was going on, right after he hit her, that he was running away from the cops for a little while. And then he was arrested. I mean, we're talking about this on Twitter at the Grammy Awards and all this, and the picture comes out. So this has all been a public moment.
But remember,
so this has to be public
some
too.
of his fans not only defended him, they blame Rihanna in this case.
Many of his fans have defended him from the first day, said, what did Rihanna do? Here's the one I love. She's an island girl. You know how they're feisty. I'm like, what is that?
Where does this stuff come from?
That's why this dialogue needs to happen, because he is a role model. model.
Yeah.
He's a role model for kids, for teens. So whether he likes it or not, when you gain that fame and you are that celebrity, you have a responsibility to behave and send out a message in a certain kind of way. So he needs to keep talking about it because, unfortunately, he's been a role model in the wrong way.
I was looking at some things, Touré, that you had discussed earlier about this apology is not only to those teenage kids who like him, but to their moms and dads.
Well, sure. I mean, the big thing in the record business is touring. That's where you really make your money. His fan base is mainly, 13 to 18, maybe 13 to 16. He's going to need mom or dad to drive the kid, the ticket buyer, to the show. So they're going to have to okay going to a Chris Brown show. Right. And in so many moms' minds, he's the new Ike Turner. So he's got to get rid of that perception.
And that's going to be a long haul, because I'll tell you right now, moms do not want to drive their daughters to see someone. He's going to have to keep rehabbing himself.
We've got to end it there, but this is a discussion a lot of moms and dads, a lot of fans are going to be having. I thank you, too, for taking part in it. Dr. Gail Saltz, Touré, always a pleasure to have you here.